Welcome to the Caribbean Coast of Colombia. The Colombian coast has a few stunning places that are relatively unknown to people outside of Colombia, and today I want to show you some of the charm that exists on the coast while also highlighting some advantages and challenges that exist in this region. We'll be exploring a few different places on the Caribbean coast, and if you like nature, beaches, and adventure, this video is for you. And the first location we're at is called El Porvenir in the Colombian department of Córdoba. What's up, everybody? I am Noah the Nomad, and today we are here on the coast of Colombia. The coast is a very interesting place because, as you can see, aesthetically it is beautiful. There's a lot to do here in terms of going to the beach, riding motorcycles, going and checking out nature. There's a lot of opportunity to do that. Getting here can be a little complex for an American. First, you'll have to fly most likely from Miami to either Cartagena, Medellin, or Bogota. If you fly to Cartagena, you can take a 4-hour bus ride to the coast. If you fly to Medellin or Bogota, you'll probably have to fly to Monteria and then drive 2 to 3 hours in taxi. And before I keep going, we can see a problem that we have here on the coast. There are a lot of stray dogs. A lot of stray dogs that have been left behind by their owners, and over time they breed and they have more and more babies that are here on the streets. This area on the Caribbean coast of Colombia is known to other Colombians as a peaceful beach getaway from the hectic Colombian city life, and a lot of them come here for a weekend or even a week sometimes just to get away from their everyday life. Here it is peaceful, isolated, and tranquil, and this town called El Porvenir is growing, and more Colombians are investing in this area. This water is so clear that you can even see some fish, some little fish that are just swimming around here trying to get maybe some grub, some bite to eat. And it's so cute. Super random, but while I was on this walk, I saw a plant that moves when you touch it. It transforms to appear unhealthy when touched to avoid being eaten by bugs and animals, which is pretty cool. These are called Mimosa purica, and it's nicknamed the sleeping plant, and they're native to the Caribbean and Central and South America. One thing that I adore about the Colombian coast is the amount of exotic fruits and plants that exist here. I'm going to show you a few examples, and after we'll explore another coastal town that is a lot more touristy called Coveñas. So guys, this is just a random backyard, but look what it has in this backyard. Oh my gosh, we got star fruits just hanging from the trees, and there's a multitude of them. We got some more star fruits over here, if you can see that. This is incredible. And then we have this other type of plant, caña brava is what it's called in Spanish, like mean cane, wild cane, and it has these little ants on it. On top of that, this flower right here, supposedly they can make medicine out of it, and it can cure a cough. Wow, this is just a random backyard, and look how much produce is growing from here. This has more produce than my local Shaw's. And here are some other exotic fruits on the coast of Colombia. The first one is zapote. It tastes like banana, sweet potato, and peach combined into one, and it's typically used in juices. Second is lulo. Lulo tastes like a passion fruit and kiwi combined, and it's also very common in juices. The third is mamones. They look like grapes, but they are in the same family as lychees, and they're very sweet. The last one is granadilla. It tastes super similar to a passion fruit, and you can find this everywhere in Colombia. Yeah, so this is another yard that somebody has. We have papayas, and they actually have 2 papaya trees, but this is one of them right here, and we can see these still have some time to be fully grown, but it's amazing. You walk outside and it's like your yard is a supermarket. And with this recent outbreak of, I forgot what the disease is called, but I keep seeing it listed as explosive diarrhea. With this outbreak, it's making me think that we need to be growing our own food more and more, because we don't know who's handling it. And we're gonna look around and see what kind of plants we can find here. So these are peppers, and they have a few different pepper plants. These are called ajís. These are relatively small peppers. These are pretty similar to jalapenos, but a little less spicy. All right, what else do we have here? And of course, we also have some limes as well, flowing from the tree. Also, there's a little lizard over here. These things are super common on the coast. You see how fast that thing is? Wow. Going at record speed. It's like Usain Bolt in lizard form. And also, it's very common on the coast to have some pet chickens, get your own eggs from them. So baby, you said that when you were a child that this place didn't have a lot of development, but what did you say happened recently?
A lot of new houses and new buildings. People is like poblating all the coast now.
You know, a few years ago, you could buy land here for as low as just 2,000 United States dollars, maybe even 1,000. I heard a case, actually her uncle the other day, my wife's uncle, told me that there was a lot that was selling for $2,000. Which now, some of these houses are probably honestly selling for close to $100,000, which in the United States doesn't sound like much, but for Colombia, that is absolute luxury.
Something I have to mention is that the coast of Colombia is hot. I'm talking 95 to 100 degrees every single day type heat. I was sweating after like 2 minutes in the sun, so definitely bring some sunscreen and drink some water while you're here. We've seen that Colombia's small towns on the Caribbean coast have an abundance of produce, crystal clear water on their beaches, and overall are peaceful. So what are the disadvantages of this region? The first issue is trash on the side of the streets. In most towns, there is a trash disposal service, so I'm not sure why there is so much trash polluting the environment.
So what happened last night, and a big problem that we have here on the coast of Colombia, is that there are a lot of power outages. This is a problem that continues throughout Colombia, but specifically on the coast, this happens constantly. Last night, at night, 85 degrees, 80 degrees, something like 27, 28 degrees Celsius. We had no AC, we had no fans because we had no power, and it turned off around 10:30, and now it's about 9:30 in the morning, and we still have no power. So yeah, life here can be a little bit unpredictable. You know, I think if a lot of Americans came here, that they would overall consider this village pretty poor. But I think that's a little bit of a misconception now. The more that I'm here, the more that I realize it's not necessarily that people are poor here. Yes, maybe they have less money than a lot of people in America. But I think one thing that really separates their lifestyle from what we have in America is just that it's a more simple life. It's more simple. They like to spend more time with family. And also another thing that I would argue is that home ownership here is probably a higher rate than what it is in the United States. You know, and where I live in Fall River, Massachusetts, it's very hard to own property because everything's so expensive right now. And here, it seems like a lot of people actually do own their own property. So everything's subjective and everything's a little bit deeper than what it appears on the surface.
We are on our way to Coveñas, and in the 1500s, it was founded as a slave trading port. However, over the last 30 years, Coveñas has turned into a marvelous resort town that is relatively quiet and a place where wealthy Colombians get away for some peace and relaxation. And this is where we stayed, but there is something you should know about Coveñas.
Last night, we paid $137 for a hotel, which in the United States might not sound that expensive, but to put it in perspective, there's a lot of really nice hotels in Medellin, Colombia that can go for $40 to maybe $80 a night. So even in Panama City, when we stayed there, it was like $79, $80 a night. So on the coast, there's not too many taxis, at least around the small little towns that we have here. So a lot of times they'll go with these tuk-tuks, these little cars here that are like motor taxis, basically a moped that has a back seat for passengers. Guys, it rained so hard last night, which is something that is very common in the temporada de lluvia, rainy season here on the coast of Colombia. And you can see that car is just struggling kind of to go through that. And people on motorbikes are even going on the sidewalks because the water is just too deep. This is crazy. And this happens very often, unfortunately, here on the coast.
So I was going to get a bunch of footage of Coveñas, but I made the mistake of enjoying the beach and clear water 90% of the time. I didn't go on a jet ski or take a boat on a trip, however, but those are some side missions that you could go on if you come here.
Look, we got hundreds, maybe even thousands of snails. All these black little dots right here, these are all snails. We got some pretty cool looking snails right here.
So while I was at the beach, someone was selling caballito. It's papaya strips, which is cooked in water and sugar and mixed with syrup. It's a 10 out of 10 recommendation for me. It's super good. And the typical dish on the coast is fried fish with fried plantains and coconut rice. And the fish on the coast is super fresh. It is often caught and consumed during the same day. So that is a little look at Colombia's Caribbean coast. And guys, if you ever have the opportunity to visit the Caribbean coast of Colombia, do it. This is a place where you can find relaxation and peace if you can tolerate 95 to 100 degrees every single day. There's so much I wasn't able to share and record because sometimes you have to enjoy the scenery and the people that you're around without a camera. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. And if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Check out some of the other videos I made exploring a few other cities. Until the next time, hasta luego.